What about dry blood spot amino analysis? I've been doing that a long time now as well. It's been really beneficial just having a look at people's low arginine, low lysine, and a lot of them are just
Yes,
not getting enough proteins. Do you
agreed.
use this test a lot? And then often people are taking collagen every day, and I did a little reel on that, just hammering collagen, this proline and hydroxyproline and
Right,
glycine, and then it
right.
causes an imbalance in these amino acids. And I've seen a huge change in patients giving them the free aminos and the essential aminos. What are your views there?
So one of the first 5 habits that we start everyone with is to eat a protein at every meal. And we're very picky about these proteins because what often we'll find is that people think they're eating a high protein diet, but they're really eating a high fat, low protein diet. And what I mean by that is if you look at a lot of the yogurts on the shelf, if you look at a lot of the meats in the meat case at the butcher, in the butcher section of the grocery store, they've got they're maybe 30 or 20% protein. And what ends up happening is people combine that with a carb source and they wind up with the perfect macros for satiety and weight gain. And if you want to know what those macros are, they are the macronutrient ratios of milk. Milk is nature's solution to weight gain for all mammals. And it's like 20, 25% of calories from protein, and then something like 35 or 40% of calories from fat, and 30 or 35 or 40% from carbs. And sure enough, that is the formula for gaining weight, not necessarily muscle mass, but just weight. When people switch to, and we get everyone pretty much to do this, we get them to switch over to the leaner meats. We get them away from, dairy, which I have nothing against, but for example, people will come in with the misconception that cheese is a source of protein, but cheese is like 5 to 10% protein on a caloric basis. So if you ate only cheese, you would end up with, practically speaking, protein malnutrition. And that does not make it a high protein food. It's really a high fat food. And cheeses vary. So that's painting with a very broad brush. I realize that. But, when you switch somebody over to lean ground beef, lean cuts of steak, you switch them over to, trimmed meats instead of fatty meats. You give them a little bit of whey protein, or, some kind of like cottage cheese where it's a higher protein dairy. Then you end up seeing their protein intake increase by 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 grams. It wouldn't be uncommon for us to double someone's protein intake in their diet in the practice. And when you do that, a lot of problems go away. Before I spent so much time counseling people on what to eat to optimize their protein status, I was doing a lot of serum protein or amino acid levels. And I found them enormously helpful, just as you have, from the perspective of, where is your arginine, where is your lysine, what's going on with your collagen based amino acids, or your essential or branched chain or branched chain amino acids. I found it very helpful there, but we ended up having to sort of pick and choose. Our patients can only do so much lab testing, and we only have so much time to sort of health coach them. And so we're really just going to focus on eat more protein, cook with bone broth. And then if someone wants a deeper dive and a deeper level of resolution and more time with the team to cover that, we're happy to order urinary or plasma amino acids. And, you mentioned blood spot, which is a lot more convenient and shelf stable. One of the things we love about the hair, particularly because we work with people as you do internationally, is we have people shipping their hair to our lab from Mallorca and South Africa, and the hair doesn't go bad. And that's a great, you know, uh, advantage to that. Whereas you might struggle to get samples to the lab on time that are blood or urine and have to be frozen for them to be stable. So that's how we end up approaching that in the practice. But it is very powerful, and many people underestimate. And that's one of the benefits of having health coaches. They can really get into how much protein are you actually eating, and are you these proteins that you, or the protein you think you're getting in your diet, are you actually getting protein, or are you getting a lot of fat or carbohydrate, which is often the case.